Ryan Reynolds talks a little bit about introducing the X-Men into the MCU, and specifically the complications surrounding the X-Men in regards to Deadpool 3, and how multiple things are behind a lot of red tape. So this came at us from an interview with Collider, where Ryan Reynolds was talking up the excitement surrounding Deadpool 3, all the fans and the excitement, and of course the introduction of Wolverine into the MCU and the Deadpool franchise. And he said that despite all the things they're able to get their hands on, and the fact that they are still very much X-Men characters and associated with the X-Men and different brands, that working on Deadpool 3, specifically with using the X-Men and the mutants, has caused a lot of questions. And he says that there's a lot of moving parts because of the nature of the contracts that were in play before and what's happening now with the X-Men, and of course Deadpool 3 being in the middle of it all. And he says that there's a lot of red tape behind everything and a lot of specifics in relation to X-Men, complications, contracts, multiple things in play, and just things that he's not even allowed to really know or talk about. So a lot of people seem to have a misunderstanding in regards to what he's saying here. What he's saying in regard to the red tape is, we know for a fact there is still contracts that were in place with specific actors. We knew that one of these actors that was signed on for multiple deals was Evan Peters, for example. They clearly were able to negotiate with Evan Peters, bring him back for WandaVision, and then his contract was more or less used up, according to what we know. Again, there's other actors and characters that are behind red tape that are locked to specific actors, or specific actors are locked to these contracts for a duration of a time. And you can either use this actor and pay them, or sit out the contract and then have a period of I can't use this character, or you negotiate something in the middle and it benefits everybody. So the logistics of Deadpool 3 are going to be behind a lot of this, as he puts, red tape, and there's a lot of complications behind that, because let's say, for example, he wants to use Professor X. Well, James McAvoy is still contracted from what we understand. He had one more film deal left over. Now, do they get Patrick Stewart back? Then they pay him. But then how do you deal with McAvoy? Because he was grandfathered in with a long-term contract. So there's a lot of legality with this that they have to go through and try to make things right. So it makes sense why he's saying that there's complications, because there are. There's just moving contracts that you cannot break, and they have to be careful and talk to all the parties and make sure that things can work out for whatever they need. And again, Ryan Reynolds is not the contract guy. It goes through the lawyers and Kevin Feige. So there's a lot of things that he can ask for, and then it's like, we'll get back to you, but do this. And then 3 weeks later to 6 months later, somebody shows up and goes, yeah, we talked about this. You can use this, but not this. Again, it's the ever-evolving nature of Marvel Studios. We've talked about this plenty of times before, and it's always going to be there.